About a week ago, Twish 1999 set a little competition, and the competition it's about love. I mean, Valentine's Day is coming up soon, and I'd like to explain how I found my love. What happened was, I came to Bulgaria. When I arrived, there was nothing to do. I plonked myself here in the house that we got, and I'd walk around the village, cycle around the village, go into the local bar, eat and drink. It was very, very cheap 7 years ago. And I'd met a couple of people who were acquaintances at the time. And one of them in particular spoke very little English. And he was a very small fellow with a shaved head. And we spoke street English to each other. You know, broken words, no grammar. You know, if you say Brian Adams, for example, everybody knows what you're talking about. And this one day I was in the internet cafe and I was sending an email to somebody, and when I finished there was somebody standing over my shoulder. You know how you can see through the monitor. And he said to me, "Coffee?" And I declined, because the day before I'd been told that he'd only just got out of prison after 7 years for armed robbery. I don't want to be associated with people like that. I suppose even if they are reformed, I don't want to associate with thieves. So what I did, I said, "No, I'm sorry, I've got to go back and work." So I do nothing more than leave the internet cafe quickly after paying. And it had snowed that week, and was about a foot of snow, hard snow. So I dashed off down the street, walking in car tyre tracks, and I came to one of the bars that I'd been in before, but I hadn't bothered with it because it was more expensive than the other bars, even though it was still very cheap. So I went inside because I wanted to hide from this man. And as I walked in the door, I closed the door behind me, and I stood with my back against the door, and I fell against the door about an inch, 2 inches. And there was standing Ellie. She was standing on the step, and she glanced at me and said, because she saw me coming in, she got up, you know, like to an attention, and she said, "Would you like to take a seat? Do I look English?" She said, "Yes, you do." So I sat down, and she gave me a coffee, and because there was no other customers in the restaurant, she stood for 3 hours talking to me. 3 hours listening to my bullshit. And in that 3 hours, I asked her to sit down, I asked her would she want a coffee, but you know, it was no, just wanted to talk and listen. And in that 3 hours, I knew I was in love. I knew this woman is the one that I'm going to marry. And you know I did. 3 months later, I married her. I asked her 3 times, "Will you marry me?" And each time she said yes. Marry me? I'm short, fat and ginger. I must be exotic. No, but the fact is, whether you're looking or you're not looking, the right person will come along. The right person is there in your face. And she was in my face that day. 3 months later, we married. It was May. And, no, actually it might have been a little bit more than 3 months. But we married very soon after. We had a traditional Bulgarian wedding, but not a wedding which is all stars and bangles and banners. It was a reception wedding in a special place in Varna, which you must get married at. It's like a register office. Well, we had singers, dancers, musicians, and we went to the beach for photographs. We then went to the biggest hotel in the complex, and we had the party there and stayed over the night. In fact, in the party there was German tourists who were having their evening meal in the restaurant, and they joined in with the live band that we hired for music, and then we were dancing together, and we have been in love ever since. I love that woman. 7 years later, now we have a child. I love her even more now, but now I have more to love. Now I have a son and a wife to love. Amen.